Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I had the privilege this fall to attend a conference with Delegate Barbara Fleischauer, and she sort of wrote me into speaking today, so you all can blame her when you get really totally bored with what I have to say. Now, she asked me to speak about this a little bit, and it's the other side of maybe the complement to healthy lifestyles, and that is the nutrition part of it. In Mercer County, we had an opportunity a couple of years ago to institute what's called the CEO option with our child nutrition program, which is community eligibility option, which we can offer no-cost breakfast and lunch to our students if they qualify. And we wanted to be able to do that. We're in a county that if you pass by 77 through Princeton, you may look over and think that we're very prosperous, but if you get off 77, you'll find that we're a county that our poverty rate has risen drastically in the last few years, and our unemployment is increasing. So we wanted to look at a way to offer something to our families and to attack the nutrition part of healthy eating through children eating at school. We knew to be able to do that, to offer the no-cost lunch and breakfast, that we needed to be able to do it without additional cost to the county. We operate, you all have heard the woes of the education system many times, and you know we have to balance our budgets, and we're always looking for dollars. So we didn't want to add to the cost to do this, and so I started thinking about how we might combine those two. And of course, if you're drawing down federal funds, the way to draw down more federal funds is to increase participation. So we started a program, our Breakfast in the Classroom program, in our elementary schools last year, and it's expanded into 2 of our middle schools and 2 of our high schools this year, where we serve breakfast in the classroom. And that's been around for a long time. It has been popular in some counties, but we added a little twist to it. In addition to the nutrition part of it, we are always looking at how we can increase our test scores and do better and make sure that we have achievement of our students. So we wanted to be able to have a time that we were trying to reach that goal also. We had heard from our teachers in the past that they did not feel like they had time in the day to read to children, that they were so busy teaching skills that they didn't have time to open that book and sit down and have a wonderful conversation with kids about something that they had read and to introduce them to all types of literature. So our Breakfast in the Classroom program is a combination of, we have breakfast in the classroom, but our teachers read to our youngsters while the children are eating their breakfast. And that's a requirement. We put it as a requirement in the system. They choose the books, they choose them on level, they choose them above level. They may read chapter books, but they're to read to them. That gives them the time to do something that they're not teaching a skill. Kids don't have a pencil in their hand. They're just, hopefully, by enjoying reading, seeing their teacher enjoy reading, that they will develop a love of reading. And at the same time, they're having their breakfast. We have found that we've had a lot of good positives that has come out of this program. One, with our breakfast program in the past, we had a few children that would have breakfast, but mostly they sat in the cafeteria and visited with their friends and threw their breakfast in the trash. With Breakfast in the Classroom and the teacher reading to them, the teachers are telling us that we have a lot less throwaway, that children are sitting there and they're enjoying their breakfast while they're listening to their teacher. It's a great time for kids to enjoy a good story and to learn about literature. It becomes a very good teachable moment for our teachers. They tell us, our teachers tell us, that the children are much more attentive while this is going on than they were. They're much more attentive throughout the morning because they now have had something to eat in the mornings rather than coming to school hungry and not eating breakfast that was provided or not eating anything at all. So they're not falling asleep on us at 10 o'clock because they haven't had a good nutritious breakfast. The teachers are telling us that their listening skills, it's a wonderful time to teach listening skills, and we all know that that needs to be a skill that we teach. That while they're enjoying their breakfast, they're not talking to their friends, they're listening to their teacher read. So it's a quiet time. It's a much more pleasant time to enjoy their breakfast rather than a loud school cafeteria where it's all about what I did the night before and talking about that kind of stuff. And we didn't think of all these things, but these are things that have happened. We've also found that we have a large reduction in the number of snacks sent from home. And we all know what those snacks were. They were chips, they were something that was high calorie, it was stuff that wasn't good for them. And the parents are finding that, the children are eating breakfast with us. We start the day that way. It may even be 10 or 15 minutes after they've started their day. That's when breakfast gets to the room. So they don't need that high-caloric mid-morning snack because they've had a nutritious breakfast. The challenges that we've had in the program, there's always challenges when you try to do things. Delivering all those breakfasts to classrooms has been a challenge, but we ask our employees to bear with us and give it a try. And they were real troopers the first month, not knowing that they were going to see all these benefits. They sort of trusted in the decision that this is what we were going to do, and that's worked out. We had to buy some pails to carry it in, and we had to work with the health department, and we had to do some things, but that was a challenge at first. The menu is a challenge. We have to make sure that it is something that's suitable to have in the classroom, so you don't have, pancakes with syrup is not a good thing to have in the classroom. So that's not a menu item unless it is specifically asked for by a brave school. And we also needed to work through the challenge of adding one more responsibility to the teacher. We have to be very cognizant of that and make sure that it was something that they could do without a lot of additional burden and that they could see positive results from, and they've done that. As we have progressed through it, I want to share one way that the schools have taken off with this that I thought was just a wonderful idea. You give them, you sort of throw out an idea to them, and it's wonderful what your people do to make you look good. One of our primary schools, we have 3 K-2 schools in our system, and one of our primary schools this year, they decided that one of their reading activities was they were going to do the same book throughout the primary school, Charlotte's Web. And so every teacher was reading a chapter from Charlotte's Web, and then they had these culminating activities after they finished Charlotte's Web that kids were talking. Kindergarten, first and second grade children were talking about Charlotte's Web and the story at other times during the day. Now, maybe that's not exciting to you, but that's really exciting to me, that we have kids talking about literature and at that young of an age and wondering what's going to happen next and talking to their friends outside when it actually happened. To finish, I want to ask, as you consider different possibilities throughout the session this year, as we look toward trying to have healthier lifestyles for our children, I ask that you always consider that you give us more flexibility and not more mandates. We need to have goals, but we need to be able on a local level to be able to work through those and decide what's the best way for us in our particular situation to be able to make it work for us. We need more control at the local level, and I know that sometimes we have many mandates that come through statute, but also we have mandates that come through state policy, and I ask you to always be aware of that for us, because when we have the freedom, when we have the flexibility to work through things, I think that we can come up with really great results. we really do. I think we all have the same common goal, and that is to have a healthier lifestyle for our kids and consequently our adults in West Virginia.
2 years ago, I was working for the Charleston Gazette, and I had started a 70-part series on West Virginia's high rate of chronic disease and obesity, and this is the first page of that series. There's Dr. Jeffrey, Dr. Neal on the front of that. This is a public emergency. We do have 1 in 4 children with high blood pressure, 11-year-olds, as measured by the cardiac program. We do have children with a similar rate of high cholesterol. And yes, we can do something about it. Last year, that hypertension rate started going back down, perhaps in part because of what the good action that the legislature is taking in increasing the good nutrition. But as the state of North Carolina says, their slogan for their Healthy Lifestyles program is eat smart, move more. And you got to do both of them. It's 2 shoes. If you eat more and you don't move more, you can have unintended consequences. So the two go together. In the 2 years that I spent, I've taken a leave of absence from the Gazette, had Kim Tiemann from the Benedum Foundation talked me into doing that, to put what I learned during that time to use in this website. And the website is intended to be a resource for you and for any West Virginia community that wants to increase their the physical activity and healthy food options in their community. And I'll show that to you in a minute, but I'll just tell you a little bit about it. During the 2 years I was doing the Shaper In, I saw dozens of communities, more than I was able to write about. And I can tell you that there are great things going on all over West Virginia. In small communities, people are really trying. They know there's a problem. They are trying. And they're doing some pretty amazing things. Have you got one of those little flyers? Each of you has a flyer for the conference that's going to go with this website. And it just has some pictures of a few of them. Of the school gardens in a Putnam County school, the 700 people who joined the Movin' and Groovin' effort in Jackson County last summer. The Mommy and Me Zumba that just became so popular they had to make more classes in Wirt County. The very large bicycling group that sprung up in Wood County and elsewhere. And in Mingo County, every month, 5Ks, low-cost 5Ks, to help the local people build up a habit of moving and exercising. There are affordable things that people can do, and people are trying. But they don't know each other. You know, when you talk to them, you say, well, have you heard about, they say, well, I'd like to have some more 5Ks. Well, do you know about what they're doing now in Mingo? No, I didn't know about that. Well, Kim and I were talking about that, and we thought, we need a website, or we need something, so that people can find out what people in other communities in West Virginia are doing. Because there is an answer to this obesity epidemic, and it is going to eat us up. As you've had many reports that told you this. If we continue, we're going to have kids in their 20s having heart attacks and developing type 2 diabetes. But we can head it off with physical activity and better nutrition. Kim ended up connecting the web project, which is called Try This, with the West Virginia Healthy Kids and Families Coalition, which is led by Stephen Smith back there, and their Healthy Kids, Healthy Families project. I want to just show you the site, and I think I can talk loud enough. They're going to be able to click on that, and it'll take them to a page that shows them a variety of farmers markets in West Virginia, videos of farmers markets, how-to sites that tell you how to start a farmers market, how to get SNAP benefits and so forth into your farmers market. Every one of these squares, and there'll be 85 squares on the Try This site, are connected either to increased activity, get kids moving in after school programs. That's over in Raleigh County. Here's the school cooks teaching each other to cook from scratch. There's up in Amma, the senior center, an anti-diabetes class. Community garden down in Mingo County. Buchanan is weekly regular conversation. This is a rock star. These 20 parents wanted to have soccer in the schools, and when Braxton County couldn't afford to do it, they created their own soccer league for 200 kids, 20 volunteer parents. Now Braxton County is offering soccer. But I'll move down here to, here's Girls on the Run, one of my favorites. Wonderful program for girls after school. All of these are affordable. Here is, this lady in the red right here, is the principal of Lenore Elementary in Mingo County. She has jiggered their schedule around to give every kid in the school 18 additional minutes of recess a day, and she's doing it. And then they have all kinds of there's the kids out on the but they have kids exercising in the hall. They have kids doing all kinds of physical activity during class. They have kids playing relay games to learn their vowels and their consonants. And let me find that other one here. You can see there's a lot of stuff in here. You can take a look at this. It's under construction, and we hope it'll be finished by the end of January. But you know, if you get a constituent who says, "I'd like to make a farmer's market," or "Gee, we don't know how to do it," you can send them here. It's www.trythiswv.com. And this is get those school kids moving. There's some kids from Webster County. They had an idea to get the high school kids who wanted medical careers to teach the younger kids classroom breaks where they could get active for 5 minutes at a time. There's the enemy, the thumb games. Let's see. Here's Sherman Elementary in Boone County. These guys are rock stars. This PE teacher gets on the intercom every morning and says, "All right, ready to go." And the kids in the classroom start exercising along with him, and the kids who have worn their special T-shirts that day are out in the hall exercising. But that's before class starts, and all the teachers say the kids are calmed down and ready to work after they do that. And here's Sutton Elementary in Braxton County. This first grade teacher made up little games, active games that the kids could do while they were learning their letters. And so, it isn't just a matter of either they're up and active during recess and then they're sitting on their rears the rest of the time. They can be moving. Canoa Elementary in Wood County spent $400, got a bunch of hula hoops and jump ropes and so forth, and every morning for a half an hour those kids are active and moving, and those teachers report the same thing. They all report that their discipline problems are way down and that their absences are down because school is fun for them. This is the Eastern Panhandle. They have all kinds of community things. But here's Lenore. There's the relay race in class. There's some modified yoga stretches when the kids get restless. Here's the in-hall. The second row is the kids exercising in the hall as they go change classes. And then best of all, on the last row, instead of taking away recess as a punishment, which every medical group recommends against, they give exercise as a reward for good behavior. So here on the bottom right, you see a bunch of 8th graders rocking out and dancing for 90 minutes on the stage as a reward for having behaved well all week. And the kids in the gym, they all get that kind of and it helps to get the superintendent's support. This is Randy Keithley. He's The Mingo superintendent, he is totally convinced, he's read the research. He says it's not even a question anymore. The question is, how are we going to do it? And they have jiggered their schedules around and woven PE. There's a bunch of Wood County PE teachers learning exercises that they can teach to the classroom teachers to show them how they can get those kids up on their feet for 5 minutes at a time when they get sluggish, and give them, 5 minutes of exercise and then go back to it. It's not a question of, gee, how are we going to carve an hour on its own out of the day. It's and people are doing it. It's happening. You have organizations like Fuel Up to Play 60 who have employees in the state who will make every school eligible for a $4,000 grant to do sustainable activities in their school that promote either physical activity or but all this information, I mean, who knew all this stuff? It's all, we're trying to put it all in this website, and this is one out of 85 squares.